growing up, really my experience was with my Uncle Roy had nothing to do with the law and the legal profession. He was that very kind of protective father to my cousins, Lisandra, Erika, Andrea, and Mishim.
Whenever I made mistakes, he wasn't one to quickly get angry. On occasion.
He lost his patience. When he came home, he would be there for sporting events and evening activities, family dinner. And so, yeah, he was definitely very engaged and had that work-life balance.
I have memories of going to important movies with him, like Schindler's List, because he wanted to teach us.
His first passion is Maria and their daughters. Theirs was a love of the sort that you kind of wish Jane Austen were writing about, right? It lasted decades. It was glorious. Maria is an extraordinary woman who I think enhanced his life greatly. And his daughters are extraordinary young women who just helped him grow in a million ways.
And he was a very academic. He always was reading. I mean, he would read a book a day.
Even my other great uncles talked to me about how when they were children, my Uncle Roy would read stories to them, White Fang and other classics. He loved to read, he loved to learn.
My favorite memory of him happened the last couple of years of his life. I laid in bed with him and told him that having children of my own and knowing how much I love my kids, that just blew my mind to know that he felt that way about me. Like, being a kid, you don't really think about your parents' love for you. And he gave me a big hug and told me yes.
Sadly, many of the things I learned were after he died. People came to his funeral and told a lot of stories. I was like, wow.
Well, one central case in my Uncle Roy's career was City of Riverside versus Rivera in a case that accused the Riverside police of excessive force.
And the Riverside case, for a lot of technical reasons, was a crazy difficult case, but among them were, we couldn't make our case from our client's side without calling many of the police officers as hostile witnesses. So essentially, Roy had to cross-examine them to put on our case to demonstrate that they had violated our client's constitutional rights. And he was just brilliant at that. He didn't go sequentially, chronologically, or linearly, right? He tended organically to just bounce around. So initially, the officers thought he didn't know what he was doing until almost immediately they realized he was getting them to admit things they had for years denied.
My dad taught me a quote that the rising tide lifts all boats. Like it was a collective, so that you don't just look out for yourself, that you look out for those that are in need.
His legacy is showing us through his life that where we start out and where we end up, in later in life is not the same.
He was low income. He, didn't graduate high school, but he ended up at Southwestern College, then San Diego State, then Harvard. And I love to be able to talk to my students about the journey, that it's not always just like a perfect line. My dad had a lot of bumps along the way, but look where he ended up.
Lawyers are like a gazillion other people, but we ought not elevate them above other people, nor diminish them automatically. If you're a lawyer or a judge, have the guts to be brave and bold and brilliant. And when you're justified in being fearful, that's the time to be what it is that lawyers and judges ought to be when we're at our best. And that was Roy.